You're looking at police chasing a stolen ambulance.
Stolen on the southwest side. Chris Habermill is up in Chopper 2 for us. Chris, give us a sense of how fast we're going. It's hard to tell from this shot, but what are we looking at?
Well, right now we are in pursuit. Basically, we are. The authorities are more in an illuminated following, if you will. Not so much a pursuit. They're just following the ambulance here, not doing any kind of interdiction proceedings here. Southbound on Interstate 55 near about Braidwood. So we're about highway speed, about 70, 75 miles an hour here. It's not excessive. And you can see that we're just getting past kind of we're getting into the Braidwood area. We passed Wilmington already, southbound on I-55. This saga beginning all the way back on the city's southwest side. This ambulance went missing, and somebody jumped in it. It's apparently ambulance 66 from the Chicago Fire Department, and it has just been cruising right along southbound on Interstate 55. The state police has picked up on the chase. Local jurisdictions like Summit picked up on the chase, and they initially started with a pursuit. Then they backed off. They terminated. There's no reason, you can see it. It's bigger than a bread box. It's got the reflective chevrons on the back. So just stay behind it. Make sure that the individual who's driving this thing is not going to get into any more trouble by physically moving this ambulance down the lanes. And as you can see, the ambulance is actually transiting both lanes. It's got the left wheels and the left.
from this California Highway Patrol helicopter how this thing was found. Apparently the owner of the company was the one that tracked it down and was actually following it, got a hold of the California Highway Patrol, said, hey, my bus is right here, you know, it is stolen, it's been reported stolen, come and get it, and was waiting for it. That guy might actually still be trailing behind because speeds were not so excessive. But that's how this vehicle got found on the 405. And like you said, started, could have most likely came from San Diego. This vehicle seems to be on a mission. Like you said, looks like we're going to be going northbound on the 405. We've been staying north. He's got a couple of options, but in the lanes he's in, and right now he's driving extreme. He's picking up his speed a little bit. There was this area right here, a little bit of an uphill grade. Going to be more of an uphill grade here in just a moment or two. Got some information from our assignment desk saying that most likely that vehicle has a 100-gallon tank. I'm going to work with Angie here. Not driving any faster. California Highway Patrol, again, like I said earlier on, they have a plan. They're not just going to follow it. They are trying to actively figure out a way to bring this thing to a stop. Right now, though, making our way, you can see it, the number 1 lane, that bus, it's loaded. It's, the only thing we know is the driver's behind the wheel. We don't know if that driver is an accomplished driver, meaning somebody that knows that vehicle or understands that, you're driving a 45-foot vehicle that's heavy, or if this is somebody that just has actually stolen that vehicle from that limo company. California Highway Patrol, they probably don't have us. You can bump it up, but whoa! Whoa! Yep. Yes. He just crashed. He just crashed. He just crashed. Just crashed. The vehicle that you saw there, that little silver car kind of sitting by itself, wrong side of the road. Other folks on Sierra Highway seem to know what's going on, but other vehicles are kind of coming up to it right now. And what's going on right now is the driver's door is open, so I'm thinking that all the vehicles were moving, pretty along at a pretty good clip. I'm keeping an eye on one. I'm looking out the window at that smashed car and looking at the driver going into custody right there. There you go. That's one of those ones. I always hate to be saying that. It does appear to be a female driver, and it looks like she is going into custody right now after that accident. But I'm really concerned about those folks in that car. You'd think that one of the California Highway Patrol or somebody from California Highway Patrol would get a vehicle over there just to say, hey, are you okay? But right now they're taking that driver into custody, that vehicle, that party bus. It came to a stop probably because it couldn't go any.
A lot of control, but once the vehicle loses those tires, it becomes a lot harder on that engine, a lot more taxing on the engine, and a lot harder to maneuver for that suspect, and could bring this pursuit to a faster end. But right now, with these high rates of speed and erratic driving into neighborhoods, onto the sidewalk here, people in the street, they're very dangerous situation here. Now we're back into that shopping center we saw earlier, and it looks like we just did a big circle. We'll see what happens here. You saw the sheriff's area unit go through the shot. They are overhead calling this pursuit for those officers on the ground. CHP still overhead calling it as well. But this is just getting more and more dangerous by the second, Micah, as we go near the 7 o'clock hour mark now through this parking lot here at Coswell and Holt. semi there. Airbags deployed. Sorry about that, Micah. But this was going to be the end of the pursuit here. Not seeing that semi there, but we're going to hold just a little bit wider of a shot. You can see the canine officer there with that canine out and ready. What they have to worry about now is the condition of those suspects. You see the truck just deciding to drive off, getting out of the area. A good move on that semi-truck driver, because they are in the line of fire right now. They're also acting as almost a barrier from the vehicle moving as well, but it doesn't look like it's going to be doing much with those airbags deployed. But the police officers now moving their vehicle up to box in this truck. You can see the front end of that truck, the engine smoking. The driver of the semi getting out of the vehicle, very smart move by them. But this a very dangerous pursuit.
Southbound I-95, any time of the day, 95 is always packed, but we're dealing with the middle of the day. And this driver has done, thank goodness, knock on wood, a pretty good job of, from what we've seen in the last 7 minutes or so, not hitting anybody, hurting anybybody, but he is definitely in the far left lane there. I guess what would that be, the HOV lane, express lane?
Yeah, in the express lane's correct. And we did see him on 183rd Street. I know that you were watching, but he was coming westbound, and he swerved across the median to get away from the police officer on the ground, and was heading westbound in the eastbound lanes there, and actually came upon traffic coming right at him, and had to go back across the median before he entered the on-ramp to get onto I-95. So right now, let me see here. This is 95th Street. 95th Street, just past the 95th Street southbound, and he's in the breakdown lane right now. You can see there's other traffic there, and he's having to slow down because of slower traffic coming up right ahead of him.
Well, that left driver in the regular lane and just really taking off on speed. And you're right, Ralph. FHP, Ralph just said,
there he is right there.
Been called to assist.
There's your FHP. Yeah, there's your FHP car coming up, the one that passed him. That vehicle, that police officer there, was just cruising down I-95, and this vehicle went speeding past him, so he knows that something's going on. Probably got on the radio there, and they're advising him exactly what he's going to be dealing with. So what he's trying to do now, of course, is parallel the
all
vehicle.
FHP troopers and other police municipalities are in communication with each other,
right.
And he's right behind him right now.
Right, he's up to pit maneuver. We're going to see it. We can get over a little bit there. There we go. He's got him. He's hit him one time. That's spun him around completely. They'll keep going now. We've got other officers. You see the county officer. That was the original call there. He's hit him twice now. I think our record is 4 on the pit maneuvers, especially with the van that weighs probably more than the vehicle that's following him right now. But he's going to do it again there. He's got it spun around now. He's completely turned around. They're going to see officers get out of their vehicles if they can. He's rammed the back of that police car, that trooper's car right there. No, we're still moving here. I'm hearing them say on the radio, and we've got the 2 vehicles here. There's several more a little farther back up north in traffic on I-95, but right now this officer is bound and determined to bring this vehicle to a halt. They're sacrificing quite a bit of the car there to do that. He's just lost part of the front of his car there, so we've now got the county vehicle here.
Well, that
that's continuing to follow it, and that looks like about 79th Street. Yeah, just a little south of about 71st Street in the I now, southbound. A single vehicle police cruiser that we see right now following that vehicle. They're calling for more. There's another police officer's vehicle. Look at these. Here is that all these guys. If he's going on the ramp now. This is going to be the ramp to the 112 expressway here. So we'll be going westbound on the ramp there. And it appears right now that the 2 police cars are going to follow, but they're going to follow him by taking the other ramp. He's stopping right here. Let's see what happens right here now. He's come to a stop.
All right, so just
he's gotten out. He's gotten out and he's running. He's got his hands up. He's running.
I want to warn everybody. This is a live developing story. Warn everybody that Ralph is going to pull out a little bit in case something.
Let's go on the other side, Joe.
Happens. He might be jumping over the overpass.
He's getting down. He's getting down because he's got an officer here with the weapons drawn right here coming up now. All right, they're going to take him into custody. He's given up. He's on the ramp. 2 officers now approach.
Okay, so this man does have clothing on, but we did hear reports earlier that this van he was driving in was allegedly stolen, that he was having
spike strips. Those attempts were unsuccessful. That happened. We saw one on our air just about 15, 20 minutes ago. That was the last spike strip attempt. The driver, though, given the slow speeds of 10 to 12 miles per hour, was easily able to maneuver around.
It's 18-wheelers. They don't. This obviously doesn't have the trailer beyond it. But if you count every single tire, if a trailer was hitched on to that cab, there would be 18 wheels. That's why we call it an 18-wheeler. This is a Volvo cab here, a very high-end. There it goes. Wow, already off. Successful.
That was quick.
Yeah, and now literally on the rim there. And now we're going to start to see some smoke, some sparks here, at least on the passenger side. Unclear if on the driver's side that occurred as
There's
well.
Smoke. Yep.
And you can see that, and this is going to make these cabs are already not easy to drive, as I said. You need to have a special license to commandeer these vehicles. If you want to be a big rig transit driver in this country, you got to pass higher end DMV test, so to speak, here. So they're already difficult cabs to drive. But once you take away 1, 2 tires, it's going to be even more difficult. But the driver has maintained out of Kern County, out of the Bakersfield area.
And our extreme nav technology has updated. So you see that there, southbound 5, Castaic, Lake Hughes Road. So, and you can see the sparks.
Yep.
Look at the fire.
There's fire
below.
Yep. Fire on that tire right there. Now, this is going to cause a bit of an issue as well. And you could see that rim, you know, it's difficult, but you could see that rim on the driver's side not rotating, right?
Nope.
You see that? It's not spinning.
Yep.
And we got
goodness.
fire. And those tanks, you saw that one fuel tank right there.
Is extremely dangerous.
Yeah, and more smoke coming out. So this may be the end of this in that the driver may say, hey, if he's waving now, gesturing out the window, more smoke, more fire. That tire clearly has been compromised. Fire coming up on the rim there, window down.
It's only a matter of time till he has to jump out if he wants to.
Or he's going to jeopardize his life.
Exactly.
There's no question. And if this does have to happen and end this way, not a bad location for it to happen. Castaic,
oh my goodness,
just north of the Santa Clarita Valley, a lot of fire there. And again, that fuel tank, I made mention of it on the passenger side.
He stopped.
He stopped here, so let's see what happens if he decides, hey, this is it.
He's got to get out.
Yeah, otherwise he's going to jeopardize.
He's got to get out.
Yeah, he's going to jeopardize his life here. And that fire's, yep, here he goes, getting more intense. And is he going to go on the run here? Is he going to listen to officers?
No,
it looks like he's got his hands up.
He's got his hands up.
Get away from that vehicle, get away from that cab, that fuel tank, that diesel fuel tank could go. A male suspect being pursued out of the Bakersfield area, out of Kern County, southbound side of the 5, Castaic Lake, right before you hit the real busy area of the Golden State Freeway heading into the Santa Clarita Valley towards Magic Mountain.
Rick, I would assume that these officers are telling him to get as far away from the vehicle as possible because it could blow.
The bottom line, at least what he's doing, he is abiding by what the officers are telling him to do. Hands up here, but this is a unique situation. Typically, you don't see a big rig cab burning as these suspects give themselves up. So they're likely telling him, get away, because that thing could boom.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
There you go. Get away from there. The officers, they're on their horns, telling him back up, get into a safe area. And there it goes. That fuel tank there on the right side. Yep. As expected, that diesel fuel tank there. And now this is going to be a mess. This is going to be a big mess for motorists, because this will, even though the suspect is taken into custody, we hope and we think that it was just the driver inside that cabin. There was nobody else inside that other area. Suspect taken into custody, being put into a patrol car here. CHP bringing it to an end because, and they still have to go there with guns drawn. They still got to throw up those 4 fingers, code 4, to say all clear, even though it's not all clear.
And even though it's so dangerous.
Wow.
So now we need other emergency authorities out there. We need the fire department. We need, obviously.
We're in a residential area right here, still high speeds. I'm always very nervous when we get in situations like this because of those high speeds, small areas, residential, and of course, here we go again, right, running a stop sign there, getting back onto the Norwalk Boulevard northbound. It is just too much to keep up with this morning, and this vehicle continues to drive extremely recklessly. And again, I have to be very clear, there are no officers behind it, and there is no way this person knows that he's being followed. can bring up the speedometer for you. You know, that funny thing about that, earlier on when they first started following, whoa, oh, jeez, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that guy in that black car, I hope they're okay. They took the brunt of it. Yeah, the door's open. That's a positive sign. He's getting out, he's running. That's the suspect. Falling, hopefully, just stay down. Just stay down. Just stay down. Oh my goodness. There you go. That's the guy that was in the black car right there. That's got to be adrenaline just getting him out of that car. Oh, what a tragic ending. Unbelievable crash right there. There is officers behind it, California Highway Patrol. Those guys never give up. You got to give them
definitely picking up speed, 60 miles per hour on Sherman Way. Very close call there, very close with the, oh yeah, very, very close call with that car there. He think it was a green light, but he went around some traffic there and almost made contact. In any event, you can see overall, the traffic is pretty light as it has been all evening long. Now a southbound turn onto Coldwater Canyon, taking these turns really, really wide, and at times it almost looks like he's about to fishtail, but he is maintaining control of the vehicle. It is a large, top-heavy truck, to say the least. Another red light there, continuing southbound on Coldwater. LA County Sheriff giving him a little bit of distance once again. Again, they've got the helicopter right overhead. Thank you. Pulling into a Taco Bell parking lot now. If he's trying to blend in, it's not going to work, or he might just come out the other side there. Sure enough, just cutting through that Taco Bell onto a curb, into the light pole, and we'll see what happens here. A little smoke or dirt. No, he's trying to gas it, and he spun up a little dirt there. No smoke, a little dirt spun up, coming to a stop after crashing into a massive light pole, by the way. That light pole taken out, and now he's come to a complete stop at Coldwater Canyon and Van Owen Street. LA County Sheriff prepared to execute a felony stop here. We'll see. Driver's side door popping open, and he has his hands and arms up in the air. Again, this was believed to be a possibly amazing how effortlessly that truck took out that giant light pole, bolted into the sidewalk there, and the driver deciding to give it up after what had the potential to be an extremely dangerous pursuit. Certainly very erratic, covered quite a bit of ground here in the San Fernando Valley, and now being taken into custody by the Sheriff's Department. No, that's actually Highway Patrol. It's CHP that is going to execute this arrest here. So CHP down there on the ground, LA County Sheriff helping out from above. They were the ones that initiated the pursuit. CHP taking the driver into custody, and now they will try and clear the vehicle and make sure that there is nobody else inside the cab of that super pickup truck.
Really make it difficult for that big rig, or that U-Haul, that 26-footer, to be able to travel or even maneuver. Right now, though, they got 4 officers from California Highway Patrol in their vehicles behind him. And again, very kind of erratic speeds out here.
Talk a little bit about where we are right now. Also, can you guys zoom in a little bit? We're seeing some stuff there in the trailer attached to the U-Haul. We're trying to make out what those items are.
Well, it looks like it's just trashed in there in that trailer. That's what we were doing just a moment ago. Actually, we were also trying to figure out where that truck was from. We always look at the U-Hauls and the artwork on the side. It is a 26-footer. We were guessing that earlier on. Now we got the confirmation because it's written right there on the side. Southbound 5 freeway. We're looking getting back onto the freeway right now, just making a U-turn. But you can see the driving becoming a little bit more aggressive, and this does worry me.
This is Anaheim, is that right, Stu? Is that where we are?
I'm sorry, we were at Euclid
to drive. It's difficult to maneuver, especially if you're not used to it. But this, the front wheel. Okay, so we're hearing that some smoke is coming out from the tire on the right, so that would be the passenger side.
Yeah, Yeah, we can't right now. Part of this, what's going on down there, looks like that tire finally just really, or another big piece of it just coming off. I didn't see it come out the back there, but now we're seeing less tire, more rim, and there he is. You know, and that tire stopped. I don't know if he's actually on the brakes or what's going on there, but that rim is actually stopped. So that wheel, or what's left of the tire, basically jammed itself in there, and that wheel is actually stopped.
And there are
so now he's basically just skating along.
Too.
Yep. Yeah, just skating along down there. Yeah, and this could create a fire. This could create a fire underneath the vehicle, especially with that tire down there. And or, you know, this could go on for a while, and that rim could just be grinding itself down to the point where you're on the axle, and that's what's going to bring it to an end. So clearly the driver is pushing that vehicle the best they can, but that front wheel, the actual wheel itself, stopped right now, probably because the rubber has wedged itself in there somehow, because he's clearly not on the brakes. But, you know, basically right now just skating along the 91. That's basically the way to talk about it. And we're going to, look at that. The heat that's being generated right there, something's going to catch fire. There you go. Whatever it was broke free right now, and you even saw the driver, you know, react to that. So the rubber, whatever was jamming it up, probably melted or broke up, and now we're rolling once again. But wow, this driver, now we're starting to learn that this driver really pushing it. It is not the vehicle that's giving up. It's the driver that's just continuing to push this vehicle this morning. Now he's down to the rim. We haven't seen any erratic driving, but clearly if he starts to try to turn, this thing is not going to turn well at all. And yes, of course, there's a little bit of fire down there on some of that fiberglass. That, you know, concern, something to watch, definitely. Is it going to bring this is that going to bring it to an end? Right now, I would say no, but we've been wrong in the past, and I'll probably be wrong in the future. But right now, we're just going to keep an eye on it. But wow, that things are really changing up, and you're really starting to learn more about the driver just by watching, being an observer. You know, this guy's, he's pushing that truck, just basically biding his time, trying to stay away from getting those silver cuffs. And right now, you know, is it dangerous? Well, if he starts to drive off the freeway or starts to try to maneuver that vehicle, we're going to see a lot different type of driving, especially if he tries to turn it. That truck is going to go straight well before it starts to turn.
Stu, is there a way to, do the windows, I can't tell, are they tinted? It's kind of hard to make out. Is there a way to zoom in and maybe we can get a better look?
Well, Vinny is, you know, he is a true professional, and I love having him on the camera. You know, pushing in right there, trying to get a look at the driver. Take a look at that little bit of fire down there on the, actually by the rim. You know, that might actually be something other than just the fiberglass. There's oils down there, there's brake fluid, that tire jamming up down there. It could have created a lot of damage, could have ripped the brake line open, and now he's actually spewing a little bit of oil. And also, if it is a brake line that we're actually looking at that's burning, or that's the oil from the brakes, you got to think it doesn't work wheel to wheel to wheel. All the wheels work off of one reservoir, so he might be losing brake fluid. That's also going to add to this the drama. You know, he won't be able to stop this thing, so you won't be able to turn and you won't be able to stop, at least with the brakes. I'm sure there's other ways you can try to bring this thing to a stop, but that fire definitely not going out. I wouldn't have guessed that, but the little bit of fire down there definitely growing. And you just got to wonder what the fuel is that's keeping that fire going right there. And you can see it just kind of hanging out there on the backside of the rim. If it does stop, is that fire going to just basically catch fire to the wheel well? Is the fire, or is it just oil? But definitely parts of the tire still coming off there. A little bit of rubber now just fell off. So we're going to, the only thing I can say is we're watching. I'm really starting to wonder what's going on. And of course, we know this vehicle disabled, definitely disabled. It's definitely going to be much more difficult to control. And maybe that fire that we're seeing right there is actually the tire. What's left of the tire is burning. We know that we've seen it in the past. Tire fires, they burn for a long time. Once they get started, it's hard to put it out. But right now, those flames continue to get a little bit larger and larger. And I'm just really curious what it is that's burning.
Well, you know, Dennis, as we bring you in on what's going on here, clearly...
Information as far as any background to this person.
That's correct. We have no idea who this individual is.
What about the company itself? Has it been able to provide you with any information, since we know that the truck was stolen out of Irvine? And look, the fire now has erupted a lot more now, and I don't know how this truck can possibly continue.
That person's going to need to come out of that
much longer. I mean, this is a really dangerous situation. I don't know if you're actually watching this as you're commenting on it, Sergeant Escamilla, but this clearly is going to be coming to a close here soon. I mean, it has to. I mean, the fire has gotten really bad here. So you really don't know much at all about this, and the company hasn't been able to provide you with many details, I'm assuming.
That is correct. Unfortunately, we know very little about this individual and the circumstances surrounding it, other than a stolen vehicle being driven by a male. We do know that the vehicle was originally stolen out of Irvine, and a report was taken by the Irvine Police Department. During the course of our investigation, we'll actually be contacting the Irvine Police Department and working with them as well.
All right, we have a full-on fire here. Stu, pick it up. Tell us what's going on.
Up whatever, something changed in there. This is actually, you can see all that black smoke. That's going to be some sort of fed fire, meaning there's oils or something burning. That means something has cut loose underneath that truck, meaning an oil line or a brake line. We're moving Skyfox around a little bit. Those trees were blocking us in moments ago. But the deal is that fire is very well established. If this truck comes to a stop, that fire is not just going to be blowing back like that. It's actually going to start getting up underneath that engine. That suspect is going to need to get out of that truck almost immediately. He's continuing to push this thing. Also, everybody's been pointing out the gas tank is on that side as well. You kind of hope, and we all know, that the designers of these vehicles, they understand these things and they actually set things up so that it is safe, or as safe as can be. But this truck really starting to really kind of push it the best they can to keep going, and you just don't know why. Look at that smoke. This is what I'm talking about. As soon as he stops, he's got to get out of that cab. There you go, popping the door open and trying to run from this. This is one of those things. You can run. We'll keep an eye on him. The truck is going to be a total loss. And, he's actually right over the fence right there. He's got to know that he lost his shoes. Now, that's a shame. Anyways, grabbing his backpack, he's going to continue to try to run. Officers from the California Highway Patrol keeping an that must have hurt. And losing his pants and his shoes. At any rate, the officers, they might be a little bit slower on the jumping over the walls and stuff, but definitely making their way around to the area where he's running to now between the walls there. We're going to try to move Skyfox the best we can to keep an eye on that suspect. The truck itself, I'm pretty sure, almost fully involved in flame. I'm just wondering if any of the California Highway Patrol are going to be trying to put that fire out. Vinny, can we just go look at the truck since we can't see that suspect here for a minute or two? Just go a little bit wider. He's not that far away. Over to the left. There you go. Somewhere right in there where the smoke is. Just kind of push in to the right. There we go. Anyways, that truck itself, I'm not sure where they parked it, but it's somewhere in that area right there. Must be fully involved in fire. But again, you just gotta wonder if maybe some of the California Highway Patrol made an effort to put it out. But apparently, they're chasing after that suspect right now. We're going to move around, and I can see the officers. If you go wide and to the left.
Oh my goodness! Well, the cab is fully involved in flames at this point.
Fully involved, and you knew that was going to happen. That fire was really well established. It might actually be underneath a vehicle. This might be one of the ones where we see the canine come in there. But it almost kind of looked like one of the situations where this might have been, because we're listening to the Buena Park PD, and we're hearing them talk about, basically they're talking about this guy was asleep behind the wheel. So this might have been a crime of opportunity where maybe a homeless person took that vehicle and was basically maybe even living in it. They might have a suspect basically locked down in that area. I always watch these officers. They have a dangerous job. We watch those suspects fly over those walls, and now we have an officer climbing over a wall is probably the best way to do it. But again, we're just watching, and I couldn't even imagine doing that job that they're doing down there. Very dangerous indeed. But they're still trying to clear the area. They're getting information. I am here. It is very hectic down there. They're trying to locate where this guy is, but they basically know that he's in this one block area. So they are going to continue the search for him.
So
crazy.
This is, I mean, it looks like it's an apartment building, right? So you would think that the people who are living there, is that?
Okay, guns are drawn here.
That's another officer, but they do have their weapons out. We're pretty sure that suspect not armed, but you can clearly see that this person willing to keep running.
The apartment building is where the initial focus is, but this individual could have slipped anywhere. But what they'll do is lock down the area and do a systematic search within that area. They need to get this guy into custody. With all the situation that took place with the stolen vehicle, etc., this individual, I'm sure if you look at the criminal records, been through the Gray Bar Hotel in the past, been through the criminal justice system in the past. I mean, this isn't just some casual individual who decided to steal a vehicle. So they will bring in whatever resources necessary, K9, etc., to lock it down and do a systematic search and to apprehend this individual. We saw him exit the vehicle, run, drop some items, pick them up, continue to run, disappeared into that apartment. I wouldn't be surprised if the individuals within that apartment building and secluding himself in that particular area. We see an officer running, chasing something.
Yeah, exactly. So there's activity going on down there. As if, when you see that kind of flurry going on, Dennis, you figure they know something and they're taking action.
Exactly. But what they do is
out this evening. It's definitely of some concern here. Now, it would be great if he slowed down slow enough where they maybe could contemplate. Oh, right into the back of the semi. He slammed right into the back of the semi truck, into the center divider, lost control of the vehicle, and now they are going to have to execute a felony stop here, assuming he is conscious behind the wheel of that pickup truck. Again, a very serious crash as this pursuit comes to a crash end here. The vehicle fully disabled after he slammed into the back of that semi-tractor trailer. CHP about to approach the vehicle very methodically here, but they have to do it extremely carefully, unaware of the threat in the driver's seat, and now clearly the front end of that truck.